Deluge. Now, I did one thing today that I don't always do, but I wanted to talk a little more about CRM's role in a delighted customer strategy. And I'm doing that in part because we're at a CRM conference. It's a little bit more than a CRM conference, as we learned this morning. CRM is really important. Getting it right is critical. Quite frankly, this doesn't work unless CRM is in place and rocking. Because CRM, as the arrows show, helps to integrate transactional data and third-party data. You can put it in the CRM database, you can put it in a warehouse, you can put it in a lake, but the bottom line is CRM data is critical and could even be the storage tank for relevant data. CRM definitely impacts identity resolution because we're going to leverage that CRM data, which tends to be offline today, but will be increasingly online tomorrow. CRM is critical in developing the profile. It's critical in helping us to sort and stack and use our data analytics. CRM is critical in meeting with customers and getting trip reports and knowing what they like and don't like. It's critical in listening to what customers are saying on public and private communities. CRM is critical on the e-commerce front for leveraging the data and utilizing it effectively, etc. So CRM, and not because I've been in the industry 32 years, I really believe it's very, very critical. So let's make sure we're all on the same page. CRM. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they think that you can take CRM technology, slap it in the organization, and magic happens, right? We get better sales, all of a sudden customers are satisfied, market campaigns start hitting their numbers, magic happens. There's just nothing further from the truth. As anybody that's done CRM, and particularly hands that have raised 10, 20 years of CRM, you know, CRM is not a technology. Technology is a piece of CRM, but CRM is a business mentality. It's the way you think. It's the way you think about your customers. It's a business approach. It says, I'm not so clever. I've made good products. I'm IBM. I've made good products for 100 years, but the world's changing. I'm not so clever. I'm not as clever as I used to be, so I'm going to listen a whole lot more. A business approach that says we're going to put into place good customer-facing business processes, sales processes, marketing processes, customer service processes. There's 3 types of processes. Outbound, from me to the customer, or you to the customer. How do you want them to do business with you? Sales, marketing, customer service. There's inbound processes. How does the customer want to do business with you in sales, marketing, and customer service? And then there's internal processes. How do you in sales, marketing, service talk with each other to make sure you're taking great, loving care of the customer? And any company worth its beans that's going to start out on a CRM today, 1st generation or 5th generation or 10th generation, knows that if your processes are not reasonable and you apply technology, you make something bad worse quicker, and that's plain old silly. So we make sure the processes are reasonable. I'm careful on that word reasonable. They don't have to be perfect. Reasonable, 80%. And every 6 months improve your processes. That's a good rule of thumb. And when we get the processes that are reasonable, then we're going to spend a whole lot of time, money, and effort to train people inside the company and our customers and our distributors how to use those processes effectively. I mean, nobody was born to be a sales pipeline management genius or a first call resolution genius, right? That's something that we need to be trained on. And it always surprises me how few people and companies understand it's not about the process, it's about the utilization of the process from people that want to use it. Now, if we have good customer-facing processes in place, and we've trained our people with time, money, and effort so they understand the value and the importance of the process, then and only then could we ever consider using the technology tool, the CRM software, as the vehicle that will drive efficiency into the processes that our people are ready to use? And that brings me to the very well-known people process technology paradigm. I've written about this for more than 3 decades at this point. 80% of the success of CRM has nothing to do with technology. In fact, when we do an assessment with a company, they were convinced it was a technology problem why there wasn't high user adoption. 80% has to do with the people and process, or the processes that your customers are happy to use, that you feel comfortable with, that people are using effectively. Have you taken the time and effort to train the customers and the internal personnel and the partners to utilize the process effectively? So that's the paradigm where, and it's not to suggest that technology is not important. Of course it's important. And you're going to spend a lot of money on the technology. But that's not what makes CRM work. What makes CRM work, I go back to the definition, is a mentality that says, I know I got to put in good customer-facing processes. I know I got to spend a boatload of money training people and educating them on the utilization of the process and why it's in their best interest to do so. And only then could I use the tool to drive efficiency into the process for people that have bought into those processes. And you're doing that to maximize relationships with all customers. So who are your customers? Well, they could be distributors, they could be retailers, they could be end users, they could be suppliers. They're all your customers, because if you don't have that holistic profile of the different pieces of the distribution channel, both north and south of who you are, wherever you are in the channel, how can you be effective in understanding customers and delivering the right products and services? I don't know any way to do that. That's the first part of the definition. Second part of the definition talks about a seamless, a comprehensive approach, meaning it's not to do in 2017, it disappears in 2018. Our best customers have been doing CRM, I don't know, 20 years, something like that, 15, 20 years now. Maybe it wasn't CRM at the beginning, it sure is CRM now. But what they've understood is there's a tool that we, this is where the profile comes in. We use that, the customer profile, the holistic customer profile, as the tool that provides that seamless collaboration between different people that touch the customer. So now I introduce the customer profile. And the way I like to look at it is a daisy. You put the customer in the center of the daisy, and then you have petals of information that are relevant about that customer. This is nothing more than a schema. It's an example, but we certainly want to know how to get in touch with the customers and any alerts. What was our last activity? What product have they purchased? What are they worth to us or not worth to us? Sales opportunities, any outstanding quotes, any customer service issues, historic or current, any product ideas they've given to us, any marketing things, and all that new digital insight that's coming from the internet. And we use that because then if a customer calls sales or marketing or customer service, and we all use the same profile, we're in a position to say, oh, hello, Mrs. Smith. I'm not the service person. I understand you called in yesterday. Let me give you a warm transfer to my colleague in service, right? Instead of, oh, look, lady, you've called the sales department. You got the wrong department. So this is just a tool that I think is very, very important in allowing us to be successful in CRM. The last the piece of the definition talks about CRM increasingly leveraging both digital tools, including both the internet and social media. And I did write this definition in 1991, if I remember correctly. I've only changed the very last piece of it, and I've added the word digital tools, and at some point I think I added social media. But the key point is, how could we possibly manage a relationship with a customer if we're not digitally capable of connecting with them? So that's kind of the briefing on CRM, and I want to bring it back to, and by the way, behind that, of course, is the now customer. And I'm very impressed with our generation, baby boomers and below, in their desire and enthusiasm to become digital. And I think it's marvelous, and I think we have to really grab it and ride with it and enjoy it while we can. And it means some hard work, but that's part of what we have to do. So here's my closing slide on this little primer. As I've already alluded to, for delighted customer strategy, you can't get there without a rock-solid CRM. And as I've alluded to again in this slide, it's at the core of every component inside that pretty little picture of delighted strategy. Therefore, it's imperative that your existing CRM be in place. It's imperative that it be optimized. And if it's not, that's okay. But now is the time to enhance it, to make sure that you can accelerate your own digital transformation and be ready for the year 2030. Okay, that's the CRM piece.